V1. Rotate.
Hola pilotos y bienvenido a Barcelona. Okay, my Spanish is terrible. Welcome to another Flight Sim 008 video, and welcome to Barcelona El Prat. Today we'll be operating Flight 461, services to London City. Interesting approach there. We'll get to that in a bit. Flight time's 2 hours and 10 minutes. I'm excited to get underway. Before we do so, let's have a look at the charts and the weather. So the flight dispatch page, flight number is 461, radio call sign 46 Bravo. We are on VATSIM once again. I think going forward we are going to be all the time. Not much in the way of ATC at this time, but hopefully as we approach London we'll see something spring up. Usually mid-afternoons-ish for me. They tend to come to life. We're operating the Dash 8 400, flight time 2 hours and 10 minutes. Worth noting that that is going to push us over the edge to our 5 hours of flight time rather, and that will put us up to Class E Captain. So very much looking forward to that. One of the reasons I chose this flight. What else? We've got approximate distance 685 nautical miles. Our alternate is Gatwick in London as well. Flight map, we are starting down here in Barcelona, crossing over into the south of France, headed to the east coast of France, over the Channel, and hopefully to London City. We'll talk about our star and the arrival as we get into the air and a little bit closer to that. The weather today in Barcelona, temperatures 20, the dew point 15, winds are out of the northeast, 14 knots. 10 plus statute miles of visibility, no reported precipitation, QNH 1019. That being said, we'll go over to the airport diagram. We are parked somewhere over here at this terminal, R2 I suppose you could call it, and with the winds being what they are and no ATC online, I've decided to depart off runway 07 left, which is a nice long, almost 11,000 foot runway, so I think we're going to take it from Hotel Alpha over here. We'll talk about the departure SID when we get into the flight deck. Alright, in the flight deck at this time, the aircraft is in a more or less turnaround state. Just saw it arrive about an hour ago, so the other crew just finished up their paperwork and headed out. We can go ahead and switch on the FMSs and the radio panels, like so. We are taking 71 passengers today, and takeoff fuel is 2,930 kilograms. We will run through the before start or the flight deck safety checklist at this time as I pull that up. So we have batteries on and checked. Main bus tie is to tie. DC external power / APU. So we are on DC external power. You can kind of see the top of the ground power cart there. The battery temps, sure. Bus voltages, blah blah blah. Circuit breaker is not modeled. Safety equipment is on board. Alt gear door inhibit switch. That guy, I think? Not quite sure. Fire and smoke detection, I tested those earlier. They make the same sounds as last time. Bleed air 1 and 2 off. Check. APU bleeds as required. APU is not currently on. Recirc fan can come on. There we go. Pressurization set and checked. Landing altitude, bring that back down to almost 0. We are good on that one. AC packs, we're on min and on auto, so that's good. Temperature, we can fiddle that around just about medium. Emergency lights are armed. Fuel transfer quantity, so we have no fuel transfer at the time. We have 1465 kilograms on either fuel tank. Parking brake is set. Power condition levers are on fuel cutoff. Nose wheel steering can come off, like so. FMS set. Okay, that's another one. I will post up the route at the bottom of the screen here, rather than you watch me fill it into the FMS slowly as I fumble around with the keyboard. So we'll get that set up. I'll bring you back once that's in. Last thing on the checklist is takeoff and departure briefing is not completed yet. So I'll fill out the FMS with the weights and the route. Put the route up here down, at the bottom of the screen there. We'll talk about the departure SID, get the passengers loaded and boarded, and we'll set off on our way. A little bit more of a brief setup process. I'm just trying that out. I want to see if I can manage to get the whole flight in one continuous video. It's going to be a bigger file to upload, blah, blah, blah. But that is my goal. No promises. It might be a two-parter again, but we'll see how this goes. Try to cut out a little bit more and just try to keep in the vital parts of the flight. If there's ATC on and it does end up being more interesting, then maybe it'll be a two-parter. But we'll look at that in the future. So I'll get this, the route set into the FMS. We'll get the V-speeds, which I've already looked up, are 130, 130, and 132 would be our V2. We'll set the QNH, all that good stuff. I'll bring you back into the flight deck in a little bit. Okay, so we just called for the pushback. I've set up pretty much the rest of the flight deck here. We've got our route in with our departure, which is the MOPAS 1 mic departure, straight out, then a slight left turn, another left turn.
And ground cockpit, we're ready for pushback.
Alright. Then another left turn, then direct to MOPAS. That's pretty much it for the departure. Not much in the way of altitude restrictions either. The ultimate one being at or above flight level 120. So I've basically just dialed in our cruising altitude, which is 240 with the all-important altcel. We have LNAV and pitch hold with 15 degrees nose up. We're going to try to get GSX to push us back with the nose left so that we can taxi
check
out.
completed, Captain. Bypass pin inserted. And release parking brakes, sir.
Stand by. Anti-color goes to red. Get the passengers seated.
Commencing the push, Captain. Start engines at your discretion.
Thank you. Anyways, as I was saying, we have the QNH set. We have our V-speeds, 130, 130, 132. I will go through the checklist in a second. Once they finish pushing us back, we'll get the engines fired up, and we'll take off here at Barcelona.
Unlocking gear.
Sweet, okay, so apparently Spanish ground crews,
Captain,
totally...
the tow truck is disconnected and the bypass pin is removed.
Thank you. Totally easier to work with than the ones in the UK. Let's see. Before start, trims set 3 times. Doors and fueling lights already out. Passenger signs are on. Cabin report was received. Flight deck door not modeled. Anti-call light was on red. APU bleed is off. Batteries, bus volts, etc., etc. So after start, nope, we can go ahead and
Left
start.
and right, both clear.
Thank you guys, and thank you for being so cooperative. Alright, let's get them fired up. Starting number 2.
Clear to start both engines.
Check. There we go, we're getting that NH percentage. Go ahead and introduce the fuel.
On behalf of our airline, we would like to welcome you on board of our Dash 8 Q400. The flight time today will be approximately 2 hours. Would you please fasten your seatbelts and refrain from smoking? If you want to use any electronic equipment, we would kindly ask you to contact us first.
Go ahead and start number 1, like so, and like so.
This aircraft has 6 emergency exits. 2 exits are located in front, 2 at the wings and 2 at the back. They are marked with the exit sign. Illuminated escape path markings on the floor lead to these exits. Each seat is equipped with the safety belts. To fasten the seat belt, fit the 2 ends together. Tighten it by pulling the loose end. To unfasten the seat belt, lift the upper part of the buckle.
Alright, after start checklist, exterior power / APU can come off, like so. Main bus tie, off. Electrical panels, checked. Condition levers, go to max. Auto feather, selected. Main fuel tanks, or fuel pumps, rather, can go on. Hydraulics, checked. Pressure in every single one of them. Let's see, flaps and speeds. So, flaps 5. 130, 130, 132. That is checked. Whoops, sorry about that. Rudder, full travel. Standby. Full left. Full right. Check. Nose wheel steering can come back on. PFD, MFD, ED, check, check, check. Bleeds, on, min. 1, 2, min, good. De-ice pressure checked, ice protection not required. Transponder TCAS. Well, we're squawking 2000, but it's on standby. So we can go ahead and start to taxi out. No traffic around at Barcelona today. Alright, just holding short of 07 left. We just turned on all of the shiny switches, so landing lights, white anti-collision lights, everything else is on, everything else looks good. On the overhead, fuel pumps are on, standby hydraulics, auto feather, max RPM, flaps set to 5. Let's get going. Power. Approach is clear. Other end is clear. We do have our transponder on. Squawk 2000. See if I can nail this lineup. We won't even stop. Just take a rolling takeoff. Let's go. let's see if I can do this with one hand on the stick. So, right click, there we go. Oops. Yeah, this is tough to do, fly and manage everything. I want to keep it off of autopilot just for a little bit longer. I like flying this aircraft. Let's have some fun with it. It's constantly wanting to roll to the left. That is normal. Speed's coming up. We can flaps up. Like so. Let's keep accelerating here just a little bit. Alright, just about to come up to 10,000, or flight level 100, so we can already get rid of the landing lights. Taxi lights are off. Let's go through the checklist. Climb. Altimeters are set to standard. Ice protection as required, which it is not. Pressurization checked. We can go ahead and put the bleeds back to norm. Standby hydraulic PTU can go off, like so. Fuel pumps can come off, like so. And auto feather can come off, like so. Quick little tip, we don't have too much of a fuel imbalance, but if we were to have run on the APU just a little bit longer, it tends to take fuel out of the left wing. So the way we would rebalance that would be to turn on the fuel pumps, and then this selector switch here, right down here, is our fuel transfer switch. So we can go from tank 2 to tank from tank 1 to tank 2. You can see that now on the right-hand side we have a little bit more. If we flip it the other way, it transfers fuel. You'll see this one come up to 35 and this one go down to 30 in just a second. There we go. Well, actually now we have 35 and 35, so we'll leave it nice and balanced, turn off the fuel pumps, and that is how you do that. There we go. Nice view. We're already above the clouds. I can go ahead and sync up the heading one more time, like that. And I think it's not going to be too bumpy. We can go ahead and release the passengers already. $1,000 to go on our climb. We can go ahead and bring back the prop RPM to 850, our cruise RPM. The service ceiling of the Dash 8 is 25,000 feet, I believe, so we're quite close to the ceiling of this aircraft. You can see our climb performance has really degraded up here. We're only doing 180 indicated and down to 700 feet per minute. That is also due to the aircraft leveling itself off, but even before that we were struggling to make 1,000 feet per minute. So we're definitely at the upper limits of this aircraft's vertical performance, which is fine. Now that we've reached our cruise altitude, the aircraft will start to accelerate, and we'll get on our way to London City. We'll talk about the weather at London and the arrival, which is a unique arrival at City Airport, as we get a little bit closer and we have a better picture of the weather over there. Right now it looks pretty stable. Wind's also out of the northeast. But we'll see if ATC surprises us by coming online. And just as always, if there is something exciting, some ATC, the old engine fire, or anything, you know, more conducive to bringing you guys back and not just sitting here and watching the DME count down from waypoint to waypoint. And of course I will bring you back. We'll go through it. Otherwise, oh, was that lightning over there? Cool. Oh yeah, lightning. Alright, well we're going, no, actually, well, I may be bringing you back sooner than expected. If there is that kind of electrical activity and cloud activity all the way up to, you know, the higher flight levels, we might have to deviate due to weather. But if that is the case, I will bring you back, and we shall do such things as those. Otherwise, it's normal flight, nothing interesting, nothing spectacular, just ranking up the hours. As I mentioned, this will tip us over the edge, that 5 hours of experience, so we can upgrade to Class E Captain. We'll mix things up in the future episodes. We'll bring in the jets, we'll do some Fly 2 routes, the low-cost stuff, but that'll be for the next episode. You know, I've been enjoying the time in the dash. I think even just doing these videos, I've gotten a little bit better at it, a little bit more comfortable, flying from the right seat. So, you know, it's good. Everything's good. The other thing is, today's format was a little bit more condensed, if you will, before the departure. Let me know if you guys like that, if you dislike it, if you'd rather see me go through all of the setup procedure and do it really in a 2-part episode like we've been doing up until now, or if this works better for you, a little bit more condensed. Maybe we can get a flight per episode, and you know, just stick to the exciting bits. We'll have a little bit of cinematics in the cruise, and that'll be that. The other thing I was thinking is when we are captain and we're sitting on this side of the airplane, the FO will be doing all of our well, not all, but a good portion of our pre-departure checklists and our putting the route into the FMC and all of that good stuff. So that's also where I was thinking we were going to head from there on, and basically just condense the departures. Maybe we'll take our a little bit more time on our first ever 7.3 flight. We'll get to know that aircraft. But then in the future, you know, I'll just show you the route at the bottom of the screen. I'll show you where we're flying. We'll talk about it a little bit beforehand, and then we'll get up in the air. It's, you know, I'm up for doing both. I've been enjoying the format we've been taking so far, but I just wanted to keep it a little bit less long-winded and having to not repeat the same things that we've been doing up until, you know, I mean, you guys know how to enter a route by now. And I just didn't want it to get monotonous, you know, watching me enter a route and fumble around with the keyboard every single time. That can get kind of tedious, and that doesn't make for, you know, good videos and good watching. So I'd rather have a little bit more excitement. As I said, I'd like to start participating in some VATSIM events. You know, Crossing Tuesdays in Europe is big. So I think once we start unlocking more routes with the Fly 2 routes and the 737, and then eventually the 800, and we'll get into the Airbuses. I know some people are excited to get into the Airbuy, so we'll start doing flights with those, and we'll get, you know, a little bit more online traffic. We'll fly a little bit more when there's more ATC on. We'll try to participate in those events, and really, I think I'm gonna have to turn the seatbelt sign on. Good thing I didn't take you away from all of that excitement. Little bit of buffeting. Wow. Anyways, yeah, so we'll make them a little bit more... Oh, ice detected too. Oh, alright, cool. So we can go ahead and turn on the engine intake anti-ice. We can go and turn on the prop anti-ice. And we'll turn the airframe mode select to fast initially, just to get the ice off. Let's see if we can see some. Oh yeah, you can see on the prop head over there, yeah, you can start to see the ice accumulation. So... But the leading edges of the wings look good, so I'm not too worried about that. Where was I? Something events, 737s, airbuy. Yeah, so we'll get, you know, a little bit... It started slow because that's how the career starts. We're kind of not stuck with the dash, but, you know, we have limited options. I'm not very comfortable, and I don't really have the Twin Otter. It's not really my style of flying. That's a little too slow for me. Even though, you know, the Highland Connect looks like a lot of fun, we'll probably, if we reboot the series, or if if we get all the way up to, you know, Class A or ATP, we'll throw in a couple of those, you know, Highland Connect flights eventually, and mix things up that way. But I wanted to start as a mainline pilot, so we'll start with the, we started with the Dash 8, and now we'll, after this flight, we'll have a little bit more variety in terms of the aircraft we can fly, the routes we can fly. Oh yeah, this is starting to get a little bit nasty, actually. Looks like we're okay vertically. Looking at the weather radar, it's pretty green for our altitude. Do I have it set to the correct... let's see, hang on. I think we can alter the pitch of the weather radar. The tilt, that's what I meant. Where does that show? Oh, there it is, okay. So if we go 0... not liking that. Definitely not liking that. Alright. Turn the gain down a little bit. Yeah, that might be problematic. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we may have a little bit of an issue. Seeing if we can skirt around it to the right. Ooh, wow. So weather, huh? Weather, indeed. Game plan. Let's zoom out a little bit on the old ND. Maybe there's a pocket we can go through. Yeah, because this is starting to get a little bit turbulent, and I'm not really liking this. Okay, so the main activity looks like it's pretty much dead ahead, but we're going to be skirting around that. But we are going into this red zone. The flashing pink is probably a lot worse than red, and I definitely would not want to be flying that away, northbound, or sorry, westbound, at any point in the near future. So it looks like, okay, well, looks like right underneath us now, we're kind of skirting around all of this. If we do happen to end up, you can see my windows already fit. This is what I was talking about last time. There's no proper, I'd have to go out with a scraper, and I forgot mine in my bag at Leeds, so that's not going to happen. Yeah, we'll see where this turn takes us. I'd like to ideally continue a little bit more further on course now, and then kind of hook right and just kind of skirt this like valley of clouds. But this is definitely starting to deteriorate quite rapidly. All right, I'm going to keep monitoring this. We'll have a close eye on the weather. We'll be back in a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we have your attention, please? We are flying through the turbulent weather. We kindly ask you to come back to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Please refrain from using the lavatory until the seatbelt sign has been switched off.
Sitrep, so bienvenue en France. Looks like the weather has cleared up, or is beginning to clear up. Most of that electrical activity is behind us, and icing no longer a factor on the airframe. We can finally see ground again, a couple of scattered clouds. Very atypical for, or at least from what I've experienced in Spain, that kind of, violent or mostly violent electrical storms and CBs and buffeting. But now we're in France. Everything seems to look good. We still have quite a ways to go. This is pretty much all the way zoomed out on the ND. Maybe one more. Oops, wrong one. We'll do... Nope, this is pretty much all the way zoomed out. So I'm just going to sit here, monitor the fuel, monitor the systems, engines, etc. Make sure nothing goes awry. We can release the passengers. Get back up and walking around. If anything exciting does happen, of course, I will bring you back. Or failing that rather, we will talk about the approach and the arrival into city. That's definitely going to be an interesting one. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the flight.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your own safety, we instruct you to keep your seatbelt fastened during the entire flight. Please observe that this flight is a non-smoking flight.